Hi students, welcome to a lesson on simple and progressive verb forms in the present. Our topic today is a grandparent's life. Let's go ahead and take a moment to look at an introduction. I want you to think for a moment, what is the difference in meaning between these sentences? Grandma is kissing me, or Grandma kisses me. What's the difference in meaning? Take a moment to think about this right now in the video. All right, let's go ahead and talk about these sentences. So, Grandma is kissing me is something called present progressive. Whenever you have a be verb and an ing verb, this is usually describing present progressive. It's an action that is occurring right now or in the extended present. We often use words like at the moment, these days, this week, this semester, this year to describe that something is happening right now, but also in the extended present. That means a little more than right now. Notice that we use a be verb, a form of a be verb, am, is, or are, plus an ing verb to make this verb tense. All right, Grandma kisses me. What's the difference here? Grandma kisses me every day. This is something used to describe what normally or regularly happens. Maybe something every day, every week, every month, maybe always, never, often, rarely, sometimes, or usually. Maybe it only happens regularly once a month, twice a month, or 3 times a day. Or maybe this is something that happens regularly in the morning or in the evening. We use these verbs, kisses for third person, he, she, or it, or kiss for I, you, we, or they. This is an action that is repeated or maybe always true. Let's go ahead and practice some more with present, progressive, and simple present verb forms. Our topic today is a grandparent's life. So grandparents usually have quiet, peaceful days at home until the grandchildren visit, and then everything changes. Let's look at some examples of what usually happens for grandparents, and then what is maybe happening right now when the grandchildren are visiting. So we use the simple present tense to describe what regularly happens, maybe every day, usually, or always. Simple present is true all the time. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some examples. Grandma watches TV every day. This is her habit. Notice the es on the verb for grandma or she. She watches. Now, take a look at Grandpa. Grandpa always takes a nap. These are things they always do, or maybe every day they do. It's a habit. Now, let's look at some examples of present progressive. We use the present progressive to describe something that is happening right now, or maybe at the moment. This is something that is true now. Grandma is baking cookies. Notice the use of the be verb and the ing ending on the verb. Also, notice with grandchildren at the house now, Grandpa is buying ice cream right now. Again, notice the be verb and the ing verb. These are things that maybe they don't normally do, but they are doing it now because the grandchildren are at their house. We also use the simple present to talk about general or scientific facts. I think it's a scientific fact that children make a lot of noise. This is true all the time, right? Stress causes high blood pressure. Notice here the simple present is used to describe a general or scientific fact. Now, the present progressive is often used to show that an action is temporary. Notice this sentence here. The grandkids are staying here at the moment, but they will leave soon. So while the grandkids are there now, it's only temporary. We also use the simple present with adverbs of frequency to express how often something happens. Notice, Grandma always kisses me when I leave. Grandma often writes emails. Or we could also say Grandma usually writes emails. This is maybe true 70 to 90% of the time. Notice the use of the adverb of frequency after a be verb right here. Grandpa is sometimes tired. Grandma never slows down. That is 0%. We might also say Grandma rarely slows down, maybe 15 or 20% of the time. Now let's do some practice. Let's talk about Grandma's routines or habits and also what she is doing today now that the grandkids are visiting. So Grandma usually has a routine, but today the grandkids are visiting. Use the chart below and present tenses to make sentences about Grandma. These are the things that she usually does. These are the things that she is doing today. Let's take a look here. Sleep until 10, get up at 6 a.m. So Grandma usually sleeps until 10, but today she is getting up at 6. What I want you to do is use these words in the chart to make sentences that use both simple present verb forms and also present progressive verb forms to describe what she is doing today or right now. Let's do one more example together. Look at this. Read the newspaper in the morning and watch a children's video. So Grandma usually reads the newspaper in the morning, but today she is watching a children's video. All right, now complete the other 3 sentences using the same kind of pattern with the words in the chart to practice simple present verbs and present progressive verbs. Check your answer after the video. All right, let's take a look at what you've written. Take a look here. So Grandma usually has coffee with friends in the afternoon, but today she is taking the kids to the park. Grandma usually eats a gourmet meal in the evening, but today she is eating hot dogs. A gourmet meal is like a fancy meal with nice food. All right. Grandma is usually energetic, but today she is going to bed early. How did you do on your sentences and using the different verb forms? Let's talk about present progressive. So we use also the present progressive to describe something that is happening in the extended present, even if it's not right now. So it may be something that is happening right now, but is also happening maybe this week, today, this semester, this year. So it's happening right now, but also a little before now and also a little into the future. Let's take a look at an example. The grandkids are visiting this week. So they are here now, but they came a little bit before and will stay and continue to visit throughout this week, the extended present. They're visiting more often this year. Notice again, they're visiting more often this year. They're visiting now, but also before now and maybe a little after now. Now, what I want you to do is write your answers to the questions. Use the bolded words in your answers. So notice this question here. What classes are you taking this semester? You might answer, I am taking biology, math, and science this semester. That means right now, but also maybe a little before now and a little into the future. Complete these sentences using the present progressive verb forms and these time markers.